nature and nurture. What do I mean by that? A lot of people think that what they inherited from their parents, that it determines basically everything. Your IQ, your intelligence, your skills, your health, your personality traits, everything is determined by nature, and you can do nothing about it. Their view of people is very static because things won't change, or maybe just a little bit. So they say it's a given. Yeah, I got to deal with it, and that's it. So those are people who are typically having a fixed mindset. So I cannot learn or grow much because that's just who I am. Notice how often people express it in this way. That's just who I am. And basically, their learning has stopped when they finished school or or high school or a vocational training. So they're in the mid 20s and then the learning stopped. Nature or is that's what people think in that way. But there's also nurture. Nurture is like, hey, of course, there are a lot of things which are genetically determined. Like my 50% of that is something genetically. Yeah, I did nothing to increase my height. Yeah, or that's just something from the family. But the rest of the stuff, although talent is crucial, it's much more your mental capabilities. That is the real differentiator. And you can nurture that and you can grow that and you can develop that. Like your discipline or your skills or new skills learning or developing a different mindset. All of these things are totally possible. Yeah. So as opposed to the nature people, they say people are static. It's like, okay, I got out of school and whatever, I'm fixed, and it's more or less a flat line until I die. But the nurture part is like, no, that's totally not true. We are dynamic. Basically, every part of our body is dynamic. Every cell, every skin, everything inside and outside of my body. Actually, my whole body is renewed within 7 years. So my body now is totally different from my body 7 years ago. And I'm not even talking about the weight which I gained. So every part of us changes. Yeah? Even, yeah, although the people of the nature side say, well, IQ, that's how I'm born with, I cannot do anything about it. There's recent studies which show that intelligence is actually changing all over the place all the time. So it is not something fixed in time and basically fixed by when you were born. No, it's changing all the time. And what is also dynamic is the context in which we operate. Yeah, I define the context by what I call the seven C's. We first have ourselves as citizens. We are part of a community. We work sometimes in or have a company where we live in a city, in a country. We're part of cyberspace, and we are part of a climate. Yeah, so from very small to, I can even start with a cell, yeah, and from very small to very big, that's the context in which we operate. Obviously, I live currently in the Netherlands. That's different when you live in the middle of Africa, in a small village where there's no electricity or running water or things like that. So you have a different context. But that changes because you can move from the middle of Africa into Nairobi, and from Nairobi you can start working in San Francisco. So everything is dynamic. The context is dynamic, but also every part in our body is dynamic. Yeah? The neuroplasticity of our brain is dynamic. We are changing that all the time. So that's why I say, of course, part of us is nature, but the most part of it is also nurture. And that's something which we can control. So I hope that you understand from this that You can change a lot in your life, but you really have to want to change. And then a lot of it is possible. So have fun.